Hey everybody, welcome back to another Tuesday night chat with the Muskrat. Hanging out here at the house tonight, and we're going to talk a little bit about safety. And we got into this subject last week sometime on Lee Evans' show during the week, and we started talking about things, and just kind of sparked an interest. And usually about this time of the year, I start doing things like, I went back and looked. I did like a winter checklist and some other things. And there's been shows done in the past about safety, but kind of what I had in mind is a couple folks were sharing some crazy mishaps or adventures when it comes to safety on the water, and things that we all could learn and take away from it. And if somebody finds themselves in a similar situation, then hopefully something said tonight might help them out later on down the road. So that's the theme tonight. So I did post tonight's link for somebody if they want to come in. Holy moly, that didn't take long. Creole Catfish and $9.99 Muskrat Resurrection Fund. It is just about right. The boat is running, and it is running pretty good. I've got some linkage issues that I've got to work out with the timing. The linkage arm is hanging up on me, causing some issues. But I had her on the water this week, and she's running. I don't know. I got to adjust the linkage out. We got her up to about 37 miles an hour. That's plenty fast for me. I usually cruise around 30 anyway. I back her off and save some fuel. But Creole, thank you so much for that. I appreciate it. But first in the house tonight was Tommy Long with Minnow Dunkers. He says, great topic tonight. Fished by myself today. Only me and another boat on the lake all day. Are you ready to go in the water when it's 40 degrees? He says, I try to be ready. And so that's a great segue to tonight's episode is about fishing in the cold. And there are not very many boats out there. You won't get help real quick like you would in the middle of summer. And so we're going to talk a little bit about safety tonight and how to protect ourselves and invest in ourselves. So we got Jersey River Rat in the house, avid fisherman, my brother Zach Murray with the River Warrior team of River Warriors. We got Mike Greenwell's in the house as well. Let's see, Dale Hayslip, Brian B's in the house, Carmel Muncie. Let's see, Matt with Wannabe Outdoors is in the house as well. Thank you guys for stopping in. There's the other part of the trio of the River Warriors. We got Skip over at Clearview Outdoors. What's up, brother? Thank you for stopping in. And, of course, we got Creole Catfishing already dropping the $9.99 there. What? I'm already getting behind in chat. I'm trying to get shout-outs done. We got Mo Creek. I got to talk faster. We got Scott Swift. Lance McCouga is in the house. We got, let's see. Ooh, everybody's rolling with the hellos. I got to keep up. Catfishing with Costa. Hello, Brenda. Thank you so much for stopping in and hanging out with us for a little bit tonight. Chucky Morgan's in the house. Lizabella Kirkpatrick Thomas. What's up, Liz? Thanks for stopping in. My dog just walked in the door, and she's excited to see me. Let's see. Whisker Dreams is out there tonight. We got CVA. We got Papaw Ed. We got my brother J Dog. Went fishing with J Dog and Tara and Jody yesterday. I got my pontoon Jody shirt now. I'm officially a cool kid. So put that in your snipe and poke it. It's torn. Quit. God. The dog loves me. Oh, we got Sandy in the house as well. Well, I gotta get moving here. And we've got Annette Morgan, Fields the Water, Mr. Chad. New channel coming out there. We got Sunfish Assassin dropping the $5. Happy New Year, my friend. Thank you, George. I appreciate that very much. We got Larry over 3+1 Outdoors. Looks like he had a fantastic weekend of fishing. Can't wait to see the video for that one there. Looks like a lot of fun. We got Realville in the house as well. Stonefly71, what's up, brother? Thanks for stopping in. Holy moly, we got another super chat following in. We got Brandon Enix with Catfish and Dreams. Let's get the muskrat wet. Hey, I'm ready when you are, buddy. You tell me when you're good to go, and we'll make it happen. Let's see. I'll try to get back down through here real quick. We got Joy Stewart in the house as well. Man, Facebook user, not sure who that is. What, you on Facebook? Yeah, we're on Facebook tonight as well. If there's a permissions, you have to allow StreamYard to use your name through Facebook. Facebook won't let me see your name unless you let it. So you can, if you don't want to do that, you can always just type your name at the end of the message if you're tuning in from Facebook. But I appreciate you being here nonetheless. There's Jody herself right there. She is on the road driving tonight. So Jody, be careful. Get out of chat. Stay alive. Eddie Gross here with us as well. We're climbing fast. We got 47 people in the house tonight. They're excited about safety. Safety isn't always a very popular topic, but it's one that has to be talked about at some point in time. We got War Pig, my brother, Bill Hopper, hanging out with us as well. Jimmy Graham, what's going on? Thank you for stopping in. I'm trying to get through here and make sure I try not to miss anybody. I know when I'm in chat and I'm saying hellos, I like hearing my name called out in recognition. I'm sure everyone else does as well. So I do my best. There's Chris and Telly over at Hooks and Hammocks. Thanks for stopping in. A lot of hellos going across. It's between a lot of chat and my memory. I got to read all these names. Say, did I say that one yet? Did I say J-Dog yet? I probably said J-Dog, but I'll say it again. There's Mr. Lee Evans. Lee Evans' daily talk show is kind of where this sparked the interest to have this show tonight. So, Lee, thanks for tuning in. Appreciate it. There's buddy Eric. Hello, everyone. It was so good. I might have missed part of that conversation. Chrissy Brown hanging out with us as well. Chrissy, thank you so much for stopping in. Hope all is well your way. Pontoon Jody dropped $5 is Roger's #1 fan. Well, she says that to everyone, so I'm not sure. Just like that's like the BFF thing now. I don't know how many BFFs you can have, but we'll do our very best. We got Tom with LG Bass. Home on, man. I think I'm just about there. We can get this show started. See, Uncle Lou's in the house as well. What's up, buddy? Thanks for stopping in. We we made you proud yesterday. We had 11 Uncle Lou rods hanging out the side of the boat. So it was interesting. It was very colorful, I'll tell you that. So let me see. I got to shut this other one down. It makes this one lag a little bit. Man, oh man. Did you guys do any good on the licking yesterday? We didn't do worth a lick. That's how it got its name. I think we didn't do worth a hoot yesterday on the Licking River. We didn't do worth a hoot on the Ohio either, so don't let that fool you. Freddie Outdoors Adventure, what's going on, brother? Thanks for stopping in. We did some fishing yesterday, Rustic Outdoors. We started out below Meldal Dam, fishing the Ohio. Managed to catch one little blue cat. This is Mr. Elstan Perez himself, Chunky Cats. What's going on, buddy? Thanks for stopping in. We caught one blue cat on the Ohio. We decided to move up to the Licking River, and the wind was primarily the major factor. We had a lot of wind yesterday, and on a pontoon boat, it gets a little tricky. So right there's Fields to Water again, Chad. If you haven't made the switch over, you've not got much time. If you're a fan of fishing with the Chad, you need to get clicked over on the Fields to Water because Chad is shutting that channel down. And if you want to be part of the bait shop and all the other cool tournaments and experiences Chad puts together, you can only see it on Fields and Water. So be sure to hit like, subscribe, and comment on the only one video he has there now, but give it a thumbs up and a go. All right. Fat Boy says the Ohio River is angry right now. It's just getting excited. It's just getting excited. That rising water or high water, flooded water, it don't shut the fish down. You got to adapt a little bit. You got to take some extra caution. Obviously, safety is the #1 concern. Jeremy's in the house. Jeremy Colvin, thanks for stopping in, buddy. But if you're experienced at is Uncle Lou's number, now you got some stiff competition there because I know I'm awfully fond of Uncle Lou. I know J-Dog's awfully fond of Uncle. I think he might be like an illegitimate son of Uncle Lou. I'm not sure, but you might have a fight on your hands trying to claim that spot, Jody. What are you doing texting? Yeah, I know how Zach feels about the Ohio. The Ohio is getting right. This low water that we've had is made for a pretty slow bite. Once we get more water, we usually catch more fish. So, J-Dog, you're my first guest. All right, so let's get into safety. All right, so I've got a big list of notes right here because that's how I am. I got to write this stuff down. But I've got a whole page of winter tactics and winter safety stuff here for us to talk about. But again, if you're tuning in and you've got a story of something happening to you out on the water, and you know that you learned from, or you could have learned from, that you can help us all learn from, then I would ask that you hop in and share a story. So I'll kick it off with a small story. And the story is throwing an anchor rope in fast water, fishing with a fellow that I didn't fish with a lot. Try to make the communication that, when I throw the rope in, when I throw the anchor in and rope, just don't go forward and run over the rope, And so we've done it on and off throughout the day. For some reason, this instance, I threw the buoy, the anchor in with the buoy ball in hand, and thought we was going backwards. And so I was feeding rope out, and it was just a current was pulling the rope out. And he had it in gear, and that rope went straight back into the motor and locked up right now, shut the motor off. And so what that did was spin our boat around, and now the water was rushing into the back of the boat and trying to come over the back, which is going to sink your boat. But luckily, I'm trying to, Jody says I'm at the drive-through. I got you. All right. But luckily, was able to keep a calm head. One of us was able to keep a calm head and work through the situation. Now, in that situation, the anchor had caught and was holding strong. And the only way we could get out of the situation was to get that boat moving again. Well, the engine wouldn't start. There wasn't much we could do. I threw a drift sock out each side of the boat. And boom, all that current got so much pressure on that boat that the zip tie popped on the anchor, which a lot of us have the new breakaway style anchors. If not, I highly suggest getting one and investing in one. They're worth, you spend the money on one and you don't have to buy them. I'm sure all of us have lost an anchor at some point or another. You can use cinder blocks and everything else, but at some point in time, it ain't going to be enough. But we got the zip ties to pop with the drift socks. We were bouncing down the river, not so much pressure on the back of the boat. And we was able finally to pull the motor up and get the rope out and save the anchor, the rope, and everything. And we were safe. We had our life jackets on in case we had to bail, but it's something to keep it in your back pocket. You have the knives ready in case you need to cut them, and have a backup plan. In this case, throwing drift socks out was able to get us moving and pop that zip tie and get us moving down. We've got a guest popping up. We got Mike. What's up, buddy? How you doing?
Not much. How you guys doing? Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you just good.
That's awesome. I flipped a kayak in 33-degree water on a 33-degree day in the river.
Wow.
Yeah. I actually, a little after that, I did like a safety video, but like not like your typical wear a life vest, etc. It was more like, Don't put yourself in situations you're not comfortable in, and all that kind of stuff. I could elaborate on that if you want me to.
Absolutely. Yeah.
So my number one rule about safety is no one chooses your safety for you. So like you can do all this research on PFDs, what's the best, etc. But if you don't feel comfortable, never let someone tell you what is safe. If you don't feel comfortable, get out of the situation. When I first started competition kayak fishing, it was in the winter, and I was told some of the guys were getting upset that I was kayaking to the bank and fishing from the bank, which is legal. But people were getting upset, and they were like, you would get more respect from your competitors if you would actually be out in the river. And I was like, I'm not going to put myself in a situation I don't feel comfortable in. And then like 2 months later, I finally get comfortable, and wouldn't you know, I had a defect in my kayak. It filled up with water and then flipped 5 minutes into the trip. I wasn't even being like some tough guy. It just flipped. And then some safety, if you end up in the water, don't freak out.
Yeah.
Just Like you have to control yourself, because the first thing you're going to do, you're going to go into shock like really quick. An easy way to not go into shock is just be calm, be confident. Always make sure you're within. Well, this isn't really for a boat, but in the kayak, I always make sure I can get there by foot. Always. Now other people don't do that, but if you ever see me out in the Ohio, I am always able to get to my Jeep by foot, no matter where I'm at. So in
Yeah.
the warmer months, I might go a little farther away, but in the winter months, it's just not worth it. Because I'm in this little
Yeah.
itty bitty thing, like you just said, the Ohio River's raging. I was just
Yeah.
out in it the other day in my kayak. So
Mhm.
like a big log that's a half a foot underwater, that's tipping that thing, guaranteed. It's not a
Yeah.
if, it is. So, and I do a lot of night fishing even in the winter. But yeah, the number one thing I want to say is don't let anyone determine your safety other than you.
That's a fantastic point, Mike. Is only do what you're comfortable doing, regardless of what your peers are doing, the competition's doing, regardless of what your friends doing. Even if they're in your boat, you only do what you are comfortable and know that you can handle. And
Yeah.
that's a fantastic tip, man. That's probably one of the best tips that we'll hear tonight. So thank you for that. I appreciate you sharing the story.
Yeah, no problem. Thank you for having me on. I thought there'd be like a slew of people on.
Yeah, I did too. We some people are shy.
uh,
We have that, but no, that's a good one for sure. I appreciate that. Um, so if you don't have anything, we can. I'm going to move on down the list because I've got a whole bunch of stuff written down here.
Sounds good, man. I'm gonna hop back in the chat. Thanks for having me.
Hey, man, appreciate it. Thank you.
See you guys. I'll watch.
All right, so yeah, fantastic point there by Mike. You are responsible for your own safety. You can't blame it on anybody else but yourself. If you're the captain of the boat, it's all on you. So we hear these crazy stories of other um, mishaps of tournaments and boat thing. And in the end, it's the captain's responsibility to put himself and his crew in safe waters. We got another guest ready to pop up here. We got Joy. How you doing, Joy?
Hi, I'm doing great. How are you?
We're doing fantastic. You got something to share
Awesome.
with us?
Yes, I do. There are two things that I think are really important that a lot of people disregard. And number one is you need to have a way to wash a cut or a scratch immediately and put
Yep.
antibiotic on it,
Yes.
because the water has bacteria in it, and the
Mhm.
fish and or hooks or whatever you're dealing with, same thing. And you think, oh, it's just a little scratch or a little cut, it's no big deal. But if
Right.
you wait until you get home to clean it, sometimes that's too late, and it can get really infected really fast.
That is
You
a
know,
that is a
so you have
fantastic.
to have something in your boat that, or even on shore. If
Mhm.
you're bank fishing, you have to have something to wash that off immediately.
Yes.
Put the antibiotic and cover it up until you get home,
Yeah.
and then you can clean it with soap and water and whatever. But that's important, you know.
Absolutely.
And the other thing is, if you're on a river that has overhanging trees,
Yes.
you have to have a way to get a snake out of your boat or kayak. Because that happened to me and my dad, okay, in Kentucky. We're going down the Cumberland River, and a snake drops into the boat, and it was a copperhead, you
Oh
know.
wow.
And so it was like my dad freaks out. He's an army. He's 25 years in the United States Army, and he's freaking out completely over the snake. I picked up the paddle and just flipped it out of the boat, you know. But you can't panic when something like that happens,
Yeah.
because that only makes the situation worse. So just
Absolutely.
your best plan of action is get it out of your boat as soon as possible
Yeah.
without getting bit, hopefully. you know
Yes. That's
but
that's the
yeah, those
big
are two things
part
that
of
I
it.
just thought were important for safety, especially the infection thing, because man,
Yes.
I'm telling you, the waterways are not getting any better, and
Yeah.
infections are really wicked anymore. So, you know,
That's true. One of the actually the very first thing on my list tonight is a first aid kit, and
yeah,
having a first aid kit is one thing, but making sure your first aid kit has the necessary items for the situations you're in. You know, you can
Right.
pick up a
Yeah.
$10 first aid kit, but if it doesn't have, you know, like the heating blankets and things like that that you might need in cold weather, or like this in this case here, you know, antibiotic ointment or anything like that that can help you, you know, save infection.
Yeah. But
Make sure your first aid
even
kit
for
is proper.
even for those that if you find yourself and you don't have antibiotics, at least clean it immediately and cover it with something. You know, just cover it with something until you get home. You know, but I'm a big fan of make your own first aid kit, because you know what you need. And a lot of these pre-packaged kits, you know, the stuff that's in them isn't worth anything most of the time. It doesn't work, or it's not what you need personally, and everybody's different on the things that they need, you know. So making your own, you can put a kit together for $5 that you can put in your tackle box, and it'll at least provide emergency whatever you're going to need, you know.
Yeah, absolutely.
So.
Absolutely. That's good stuff. I appreciate that.
Yeah.
The
All
snake
right. Well,
thing, we hope we never have to cover, but all right. Thank you, Joy. I appreciate it. So yeah, great information there. You know, the snake thing ain't something that we encounter much. I would probably handle a snake situation much like Has. I would just beat the tar out of the water and try to get it away from me, keep it from getting in the boat. But once it's in the boat, it's going to be a struggle. Bill says barges need strobe lights like school buses. I don't know where he got that idea, but it sounds fantastic. If you think about how far away you can see those school buses in the fog, I think it would be just as useful on the barges, because they're hard to see. It's difficult. Let me get through here and make sure that I miss anybody in chat. We got Alicia Barnett hanging out with us as well. Parker Pursuits is in the house. I know I'm missing some folks, but I try to stay on topic here. Justin, Cat Fishing Fetish, was out fishing with me the other day. Appreciate you having me on there for a moment, man. Love watching other local guys getting after it. Thanks, Mike. Appreciate you jumping up here and sharing some information. A lot of experience on the water, so that's good to have and good to see. And I absolutely love Joy popping up here. You know, folks we don't normally get to see and get an opportunity to have a voice, and safety is one that we got to talk about. So thank you guys. Anybody's welcome. The link is pinned at the top of the chat. And if anybody wants to hop in, I'll keep my eyes peeled for the basement. So one of the other things is dress for the weather. So we are getting into the colder months, and, you know, you don't want to be caught out there, you know, unprepared for the weather. So part of that is checking and knowing your weather. You know, if the rain's in the forecast, high winds in the forecast, or whatever your situation may be, you know, make sure you're dressed for it. And along with those extra clothes and things, you know, there's lots of different ways to stay warm. Everybody has, you know, there's buddy heaters out there that people use. You know, the big heaters that go in the 20-gallon tanks that 20-gallon tanks that go in the boat that you can set the heaters up on. If you decide to use a 20-pound propane cylinder, my recommendation is put it in a milk crate. It sets right down in there perfectly, and that prevents it from being tipped over, rolling, or anything like that in your boat, and putting yourself in a very hazardous condition. And as always, keep those flammable items away from your gas tank, even the vent the vent from the gas tank, just any of those fumes or vapors. Keep that thing as far away as you can, and still be effective. So there was a couple things there. Another thing to think about is hand warmers. This time of year, hand warmers are very popular, and I like to use them as well. And but do know that they expire. So if you bought a whole box of them last year on clearance at Walmart, there's a good chance they're no good. They all have different shelf life, and we never know how long they've been backstage before you got to get your hands on them. But if you look at the bottom of a hand warmer packet, it actually has an expiration date on it. So make sure if you're going to count on the hand warmers to keep you comfortable or keep your hands warm on a trip, take the time to make sure that they are not expired. Thank you, Uncle Jeep, for that. If you guys would, and you're liking the content so far, dropping a thumbs up for us. It helps out more than you think. So, but we'll move on down the list. Fishing in South Georgia in the river. Always watch for snakes in the bank boat. They are on the ground and in the trees. Yeah, that's a fantastic tip. You know, I'm not used to having to think like that because of where I am in the country, but that's a real situation that happens to a lot of folks around the globe. So, well, looky there. What's up, buddy?
I'm not talking to you. You called me names last night.
Terry made me do
it. Whatever.
J-Dog made me do it.
I want to touch just a little bit on the clothing. You know, this is coming from our camping and what little bit of hiking experience that we have. I didn't realize our hats were going to match, but so the number one thing you guys want to remember, cotton kills. When cotton gets wet, it provides no insulation at all, and it takes forever to dry. So there are a lot of good synthetic base layers, merino wool, normal wool. A lot of that stuff will keep its insulating value even when it's wet.
Yeah, and
it dries very quickly. So that's a big thing. I see a lot of people out live streaming, and they wearing blue jeans and sweatshirts, and then they get cold. You know, well, you don't realize that, you know, your body's putting off moisture even when you're not really sweating, and your underclothes get wet, and that's what's making you cold. So if you can find some, and you don't have to spend a whole lot of money on some of these base layers. You know, we found some at Walmart, and they work really, really well. But as long as they're a synthetic type material that does not have any cotton in it, it's a very good base layer. And then you can layer up from there. You know, if you have an outer layer of clothing that's cotton, like a sweatshirt over the top because you want to look good for the camera, you know, that's one thing, because you can strip that off. But my whole point is just, you know, when it's getting cold and you're out there, especially if you're on the bank or on a boat, if you're on the boat, you're throwing a cast net, you're going to get wet.
Yeah.
And if you've got some of those synthetic fabrics, it's going to help wick that moisture away from your skin, and it's going to dry quickly.
Chad said, Chris told me last week I was a dummy head for my wardrobe I was wearing out on the river. Well,
I don't know that I use those words, but
it could have been justified.
That's almost a correct statement.
Yeah, Chad has a way to bend it just a little bit, doesn't he?
Well, yeah, he's pretty good at that.
Yeah, that's a fantastic point. You know, the type of clothing that you're wearing, you know, be predictable, or try to predict the situation you're going to be in. You know, a lot of that stuff is going to stay wet and ruin your entire day and probably cost you the trip.
Yeah. I've actually thought about, you know, getting some of our hiking, camping clothing out and making a video on it, because we've found some really good stuff that we wear definitely on our hikes and camps that, you know, it dries quickly, it keeps you warm, and then in the summer it wicks the sweat away from you, and then, you know, when it's time for bed, you can kind of hang them up, and by morning they're dry and ready to go again.
Absolutely. And you know, like you said, a lot of that stuff, it doesn't have to be expensive. You can find a lot of the synthetic blend stuff fairly cheap. You shop around a little bit. If you're like me, I'm pretty frugal. I like to save where I can. Huh?
Yeah, well, I mean, so there's a I'm just going to throw this out real quick. There's a pair of socks Telly and I absolutely love. They're called Darn Tough.
Darn Tough.
Yep, they're merino wool. They are expensive, but they're guaranteed for life. If you rip a hole in them, wear them out, whatever, you send them in, they send you a brand new pair right back. So you pay a little bit of money for them, but you only buy them once.
Can you wear them every day?
Yep.
Wear them every day and then send them back?
You can. Guaranteed for life.
Yep. Yeah, that's it. Tommy, that's a good one there. We got a Rocky Boot outlet, and they got a lot of clothing, a lot of different things that you can buy at a discount rate, and it's good quality stuff. So That's a good way to get some of this better material and better items. Is check your outlets. For me, investing in a good waterproof suit, whatever that looks like to you. There's the Bass Pro 100 mile an hour stuff. I'm wearing the Cabela's Guidewear. Fraybill makes a great set. Huck makes a great. There's all of these different companies. Do your research. To each their own. I chose what I chose for my personal use and reason. And it's a hard investment to make. The stuff is not cheap, but once you make the investment, I'm telling you, you'll wonder why you never did it before or what took you so long. Because it makes your fishing experience and any outdoors experience more enjoyable. You're more likely to go when the weather's not as big as a factor, because you can stay dry and stay comfortable, and you're more likely to fish. You're more likely to stay out longer. There's lots of great reasons to have that waterproof stuff and get something quality. I'll be honest. I bought Frog Togs makes a suit called Toads. Yep. It's a little bit heavier duty than the Frog Tog stuff. It's called Toads, and it was really good. Is a fraction of the cost of the other stuff. I didn't get to wear it for very long. I lost it. I think it blew out of the boat, but I couldn't vouch for its longevity like I can the Cabela's Guidewear. I fish a lot, and I put my stuff through a lot. And my Cabela's
Guidewear stuff, everything they have, it's all good stuff. I mean,
yeah, and it's the same with the Bass Pro 100 mile an hour suit. There's lots of guys that bought those and love them at the time that this was what I wanted. So,
they've got that Guidewear in the hunting side too, and I've had some of that. Matter of fact, I think my coveralls and coat for deer hunting are the Guidewear. If it's not, it's the same type of stuff. It came from Bass Pro or Cabela's. I saw Mike Greenwell was asking about boots. I think he was asking that because he saw, when I go fishing in the cold weather, I wear my muck boots. They're waterproof, they're insulated, they're as comfortable as a pair of tennis shoes. And if I need to get into the water, my feet don't get wet.
Yeah, I have uninsulated muck boots, and I like wearing them for that reason. I can stay dry. If I, loading and unloading the boat, and, sometimes you might have to take a step in, especially as water levels are down and things like that. The ramps are unpredictable. So I really enjoy my muck boots, but my feet will get cold. And so I think I'll have to invest in an insulated pair next.
Good pair of insulated muck boots and some darn tough socks, and you're good to go.
Yeah, I wore the toad jacket at Rocky Fork. I don't remember. I didn't even remember wearing it, but apparently I wore it. I don't think I was prepared for the rain. I didn't take my own advice and make sure I watched the weather. But
Jody never stops, does she?
She's crazy.
Hey, I was only worth $2 though, not $5.
$2. Hey, and she put us up to that last night. Can you believe that?
Yeah.
Oh, you heard her. She was right in on it. So
it was funny though, I got to admit.
All right, Chris, I appreciate that.
Yeah, let me hop down and let somebody else come up.
Okay. All right, buddy. Thank you.
See you later.
All right, some more good stuff there coming from the crowd, and that's exactly how I wanted the night to go. Sharing instances or sharing ideas. I'm trying to keep up with the chat. You guys put them in there as we go. We'll try to get them called out. But so I saw somebody else. I think it was Bill Hopper said it, and I've got it written down here. Is extra clothes, and so most people think of have extra clothes in case you're in a boat and you fall in or things like that. Extra clothes are just as valuable to bank fishermen as they are boat fishermen. Matter of fact, maybe even more so. Walking these banks and netting the fish and things like that, you got a lot more chances or likelihood of slipping on a rock or doing whatever and sliding into the water. I would suggest having extra clothes, backup clothes in a vehicle, and they make them, like Ziploc, I think makes a bag, or they make them bags that you can add the vacuum hose to them and suck them down, and they get super compact. To me, that's the way to go. That's what I'll have from now on is, clothes that are vacuum packed and ready to go. Just leave them in the vehicle. Obviously you don't have to pick your favorite pair of clothes, but I would recommend, and I got this idea from Lyle, actually, Catfish Weekly, a long time ago, I believe he suggested using sweatpants and sweat shirts, and especially as a base layer, because if you do get the outer layers wet or slimed up and things like that, you can peel all that stuff off, and you're not going to run around in your long johns for very long. But if you got normal pair of sweatpants and a sweatshirt on underneath all your gear, or as your backup clothing to get you dry and warm, you can drive around, and you can go to McDonald's in that stuff. Don't worry about it. I don't think you want to walk into McDonald's in your long johns. I could be wrong, but yeah. So vacuum seal those extra clothes up, and whether you're bank fishing or boat fishing, both of those instances are good for having the extra clothes around. Anyone tried tracing and cutting out insoles from those fold up sun shields for your windshield? You radiate your body heat back to your body. Anyway, tried. Nope, I've never thought of that. Uncle Jeep says, unless you're going to the mall, the McDonald's that's inside Walmart, then you can show up in your long johns. Here's another one, definitely on the list. We'll go ahead and talk about it now. Wear your life vest while boating. So the life vest is a must. You go in the water and it's cold like it is now. We're down in the 40s and falling. Your state of mind, just like Kayak Mike said, the first thing you're going to do is go into shock. And trying to control your breathing and control your mind is very hard to do, unless you got strong will and a mental stability to just calm yourself down immediately. But within 60 seconds, you're going to go into shock. And if you don't find a way to get yourself out of the water, within 10 minutes, your muscles start shutting down. You lose muscle control. I'm not going to say you're going to be paralyzed, but you have loss of motor skills and things like that. It's going to make it very hard for you to get out of there. So having a good life jacket on is very important. So what in the world is not Freddie's BFF? He made that clear. Yeah, and Mike, a lot of us are. I'm guilty. I wear it a lot of the times, but I don't wear it all the time, and I should, and we all should, to be completely honest with you. But what I'll say, and this time of year, is the inflatable ones that are comfortable to wear. I prefer to wear them. I've got a nice Mustang life preserver that you can barely tell it's on once you get it on for a little while. But in the wintertime, those are hard to trust. That's all plastic on the inside. It's thin plastic because it has to have the elasticity to expand and inflate for you. So most people would recommend wearing a normal lifestyle or normal life jacket. The padded, foam ones. I remember about wearing a kayak one because there's so much more padding in the back and around the midsection, and all that extra padding does two things. One is going to save your life if you go in the water. Well, I won't guarantee it saving you. It's going to give you a much better chance or better odds of getting out of the water if you have a good full life jacket on. But it also works as insulation. That's foam. That's styrofoam, a foam of some sort inside of those vests, and that's insulation. So not only are these life jackets here that can help you float or help evade a situation going into the water, but they also keep you warm and comfortable on these cold days out there fishing. So if you've only got the invested in the year, but if you're fishing in the frigid temperatures and you're out below freezing, I would recommend using a normal life vest to keep yourself safe and warm. I know a guy wears a full body wetsuit while on Lake Michigan. It's rated for cold weather, and that's his base layer, and that's great. That's definitely covered all bases. But we won't freezing up. Am I freezing up, or we might still be talking about we've been talking about cold weather, so maybe if I'm freezing up, just let me know. But I'll keep moving on. My neighbor, into the lake when it was up in the parking lot. They found him 5 to 6 and 5 foot of water, and the water was 40 degrees. Man, that is terrible. It's just going to show you how powerful the water can be, even when it's not moving. Power. it only takes half a cup to drown you. That's really all it takes. And so put the odds in your favor, and be right back. Weather getting rough here. Sean T, I got you, buddy. Thanks for being here. I think I missed you coming in. The only time I wear a life jacket is when I'm on the exterior. If the straps are under layers of clothing, you may not get them off before they fill with water. That is a great tip, Tom. Yeah, things that are going to fill up with water and make you less buoyant. For instance, your boots, things like that. If you're wearing like a hiking style boot, then let me shut this down here, see if that helps things a little bit. I'll give it a second to see if I stop breaking up. Roger, your feed is freezing. Is it because I'm talking about cold?
What the what?